wherever you may be. Welcome. Of course, that is an homage to the late, great Bill Schonely of the Portland Trailblazers, who meant a lot for those who don't understand the reference when I say wherever you may be. That was one of his many catchphrases. Rip City, of course. He coined that in Act 1 of my career in radio. I got a chance to work with him several times. He was a lovely guy. Absolutely loved Portland, loved the Blazers, and it was really, really, really fun. What's also fun is this gig as executive director of Think Northwest. We're really proud of where we are tracking as an organization. And to those of you who are members, we thank you. We thank you. We thank you. For those of you who will become members, we thank you in advance. Nice presumptive close there in the parlance of sales, right? But also to anybody that engages with us, that shares with us, that is part of this community. We thank you very much. And we are coming up to the end of the year, so we are talking about membership. I don't want to sound OPB, also a partner of ours, by the way. Thank you to OPB for their support over the past several years as well. But we definitely would love for you to join. 2024 has some big things coming up. So as we end the year, we have our annual Marketing All-Stars, which will be announced next month. And then starting off in 2024, we've got happy hours, extremely happy hours. We are already planning our next golf tournament for the fall. We will start planning Marketing All-Stars, but a new one coming up is our Creative Award. It is not yet out there. This is what we call a teaser in the business. We will be launching the Cascadia Creative Awards in the early part of the year. For years, the Portland Advertising Federation had the Rosie Awards, which was one of the best ad club awards out there. And we realized that, yes, we've changed as an organization, but the creative heartbeat of this region beats very, very strong. And this is not just for Portland. Ergo the name Cascadia. It's for Oregon. It's for Idaho. I'm talking to you, Stoltz. I'm talking to you, Cooper, Drake Cooper. We've got our members over there. We've got Russ Stoddard, our good friend over there as well. Up in Washington, I know there's a good Seattle-Portland rivalry, so let's see if we can extend that out to the creative community as well. And I know we will. It'll get very, very saucy. And then we add into the mix the hometown of Ryan Reynolds, Vancouver, British Columbia. So we are going big, and we'll have more about that in the coming month or two, including all the information you need to enter. Again, we are pleased, and we'll call this a teaser, the Cascadia Creative Awards coming up in 2024. In addition, we'll have things online. We will have other in-person things. We will bring together cohorts of people within the industry so that we can learn, celebrate, and thrive together. This is one of my favorite things to do. This is the second one that we've done, but the first that we did, I said, yeah, I would love for members to be able to share what they've got cooking, because throughout a year, things change. And it's great to be able to introduce a partner and introduce a member and introduce an agency or a company or a brand or an individual to our community. But this is an opportunity to maybe do it more than once a year. And a few weeks ago, we had Elazar Ruiz from Odd Notion, founder, just found out that he's going to be working with Business for a Better Portland, which fantastic news. And that's a great hookup. Congratulations to Stephen Green and Elazar for getting that going. That's going to be remarkable work. So our next guest in the member check-in is Britt Howard, the founder of Portland Garment Factory. And I'm bringing in my colleague, Nicole Goffna, executive manager from Think Northwest. Britt, a couple things. Number one, I came out to the shop, came out to the studio, and you're out in Southeast, and it's like a candy store out there. So where I want you to start with this is, I think by the name, people can understand a little bit of what you do, but what Portland Garment Company does is so multidimensional. I would love for you to tell the story of PGF.
Okay, great. I would love to tell it. Well, let's start with, it's Portland Garment Factory, not Portland Garment Company. But
wait, did I say company?
Yeah,
I'm jet lagged. What? No, I said port. Yeah. So well, I got the acronym right. I'm jet lagged. Let's blame that on me.
No, I think it's a good segue to exactly what you're saying. So it makes sense. It's because like, I can tell you the story of PGF, but first I'll tell you, in 2018, we were about 10 years old at that time, and that's when we started to try to change our name to just PGF and kind of push that through on our logo and branding and the way that we spoke. And that was really because telling the story of what Portland Garment Factory does, we don't just do garments anymore, and we hadn't for a long time. And so it seemed like a good time to change it to PGF. And then now people call us PGE. And so it's funny that you said Portland Garment Company. So it's like, whatever. So the story goes, what started in 2008. And so we're about 15 years old. And I really wanted a place for designers and people who need help with cutting and sewing, artists and clothing designers, to have a place that they could go to get support in different services, from pattern making, sample making, and then from there we grew into production and material sourcing and whatnot. So we've grown really humbly over the years, like the first 10 years or so, and then at around 2018 is when we really put the pedal to the metal. That's when we became a B Corp, and we've opened different departments, and so we're really a full service soft goods manufacturing company. We do everything from clothing and fashion to we help marketing companies do things like make a seating kit that's cheese themed, or make a sculpture that will hang in the center of the lobby of a hotel and engage the guests over a specific thing they're trying to make impact around. Or we make curtains. We work in hospitality, retail environments. It's really if the project fits and it's creative and it works with our services, and then and our values. So part of being a B Corp is that we are completely zero waste in our cutting room. So all of our offcuts are pulverized and made into what we call PGF puff. And the puff is then made into things like pillows, bolsters, seating. And I have way more to say about that later, but that's a brief overview.
Yeah. And what I love, so when you say soft goods, one's mind could go to, okay, I think I understand what that is. But what I think is really interesting, and this is when I came to the studio, what really struck me, and we're taking a look at the site right here, was that it felt like possibilities, right? So if you're an agency or you're a brand and you've been doing the same thing over and over again, maybe it doesn't have quite the efficacy that it's had in the past or the impact that it's had in the past. This just seems like it would be a nice little playground to fiddle with. And you look at this particular project, Camp Grizzly and Anthony Edwards. I mean, this is such a unique thing that I would have to imagine, especially a creative agency or a brand. And listen, Pacific Northwest brands, we're crafty folk, right? So let's go through, you've got this one, and then you've got the sound baffling and wall art. I mean, look at the functionality and beauty of that. And this is so unique. And then you get a chance to see a little bit of the process going on there. I love that. Okay. Oh, here we go. You can't pass that, right? Look at this. Wow. Oh, it's a Lloyd Center. Okay. Look at this. I mean, there's so many dimensions to this. And then was this for the agency industry?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a great example of this. And it shows up in their space in downtown Portland.
Yeah,
So,
and those bolsters are, like I said, made with all scraps. Each one is unique on the way it looks from the outside, but on the inside, they're filled with our pulverized waste. So they're very sustainable and very creative in the way that they present when you go into the space. Each one, like I said, is different, and that was a really fun project.
yeah, let's move this up so we can see this a little bit better. All right, so that's a perfectly good example of me not knowing how to work my computer, but also a great example of, like an agency or somebody in our in our space working with you. Look at that. What is that?
So this is an ongoing project between Marie Watt, who is an Indigenous artist here. She's from Oregon. She's made lots of different art works over the years and sculptures. This particular collaboration came about because she had this dream for a piece called, she had this idea for a piece that would be a jingle cloud. So jingles are traditionally worn on powwow regalia, and there's jingle dances that happen all around the country in different areas, and those jingles are on the garments, and they dance and they make noise. So this is an idea that Marie had for these cloud-like sculptures that could be touched by people and evoke, lots of different feelings, but also it's like a kinetic sculpture that's also it's built on the inside. The armature is hard, and then there's a soft element, and then all of those individual jingles, thousands of them. So in the photo here, you can see the #1 ranked powwow dancer, or jingle dancer rather.
Oh, right there, right there. Yeah.
Came to Portland. She came to my studio and danced and blessed the jingles, and essentially gave them life. And then from there they went to the different galleries, and we're currently working on more. So check out Marie Watt Studio. She's an amazing artist and now a dear friend.
I love that.
It's beautiful.
Okay, so you'd mentioned the seeding kits.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one that you had mentioned.
Yes. So
let's talk about this. This is a great brand here.
Yeah, Tillamook is a great collaborative partner for PGF, and also a fellow B Corp. They do all different kinds of fun launches for different products and projects that they're doing. This was I think this idea came around about a block party, and they were doing.
Oh, okay.
I was like, okay, at a block party, you have a boombox. Let's make a boombox cooler. And then, so we made these boombox coolers that came with cheese in them. And then those got sent to different influencers, who then wrote raps and songs about cheese. And they had these little mini mics. On TikTok, it's really popular to have these little mini mics that you speak into, and when you're kind of giving your cheese testimonial or whatever. So yeah,
it's a mic flag. Okay,
very funny.
Oh my gosh,
I'll have to get you a Think Northwest mic flag.
Not a bad idea. Never a bad idea.
Cute.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the gift shop.
What's happening in the gift shop right now? I don't even know. If you go there, enter gift shop right on the,
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
So a lot of these things that we make on the gift shop are things we make out of the scrap and the waste of other projects.
Right.
So it's always different.
Right. Woo, look at that jacket. Nicole, what do you want?
I love the pink jacket.
You like
Were
the pink
you
jacket?
always planning on having a boutique when you first opened?
Well, I actually had an actual boutique when we first opened, because we grew so small. Like, we got this big space. We thought it was big. It was 900 square feet, and it had a storefront. So we were like, oh, we'll make stuff and sell it. We'll let our clients who we make items for them, we'll let them sell in the front of the store. but then quickly realized like we needed the space, and it's really hard to run a physical boutique and a factory in the back at the same time. That was in 2009. But yeah, I'm a designer. I like to design things, and without going into too much detail, you may know that we had a fire in 2021, so we lost our whole building and everything in it, including, of course, all of our inventory that we had made out of the previous scraps that we'd collected over the years. So it was very much like a labor of love to make items out of the leftover materials and then get creative with the confine of like this weird shape, so like the chairs behind me, those were upholstered. We upholstered these with scrap. Luckily they were at my house at that time. Anyway, so after losing all the inventory, when we moved into the new building, we were like, let's just get some stuff, like our best sellers, let's make them make some new items. And that's where we made these current things you see. And I think that it's always evolving, how we interact with people who aren't our day-to-day B2B customers, and more fans and people who just want a fun thing like a laptop case, or the task jacket, which is a jacket that was designed so you can wear it doing all of your tasks, like throw it on after the gym and you can go shopping at the farmer's market and you look cute and it has all these pockets, do your art, paint your house, cook.
Let's go back to
that. So that's what the task jacket is all about. And
I like that.
They're really hefty. They're like heavy duty Carhartt type material, heavy canvas, and then they break in really well over time. And I've been making this jacket for a long time now, but
that's cool.
But that's very much a side to what we do day to day.
Yeah. And again, going back to this idea that there's this, there really is this idea of possibilities that maybe a brand has just never thought of. So talk to me about how you work with an agency or a brand when they, like, we think this, like, we think that there's a lot of cool stuff here. How can you help us? So walk us through somebody that maybe shows up, whether it's a brand, agency, anybody in our space, and how you educate them and walk them through.
Yes. So it usually works that someone contacts us and has that same exact idea. Hey, what can you do? I see that it's this Willy Wonka style playhouse. How can you help my brand? And I always try to ask the question, what creative challenges are you up against right now? How could we solve a problem creatively together? And then that will get it stirring. I mean, the boombox, Tillamook boombox is a great idea, because we were on a call and they didn't really have a project for me. We were just catching up and saying hello. And they said they had this idea to do this, usually I'll just get people talking about, like, what are you doing with your clients right now? Who are you trying to make shine? Whether it's, an agency who's working for Otterbox, an agency who's working for Herbal Essence. Maybe they're working for Tillamook. They're working for, all these different brands who could be activated in a fun and sustainable way. So first I ask that, and then we talk about what are the initiatives you're working on. Like, is it March Madness? Is it Valentine's Day? Do you want to do a funny stunt on Instagram for Mother's Day or something, like? And we just start iterating. And if I feel like there's something we could show up for them, I will pop it. I'll say it, or I'll think about it and connect with them later. And then on the other end of the spectrum, people come to us and they have an idea of what they would like to do. Like, we want to do a seating kit. We want to send 100 of these out to, like, say, I'm making this up, say it's Airbnb, and they want to send 1,000 of their top producing Airbnb hosts a package in the mail, but they don't want it to be disposable. They want the actual package to do something. Maybe I would say, maybe that package could be it would be a thing they get, and it's a gift to the host, but then maybe after they're done taking all the goodies out of it, we use it as the welcome basket for their property or something. So we'll design something that's modular in that way, or can do two things at once, or it's all about the, that authentic surprise and delight moment with the added layer of sustainability and true design that feels authentic and long lasting. So something that, because that's part of sustainability too.
Yeah. Not disposable. Nicole, you have a question.
You're talking about authenticity on your website. When it talks about who PGF is, there's an aspect of intuition. And I just wanted to ask what that means to you and how you've like developed that specifically with your creativity.
Mm-hmm. I learned a long time ago that if I was going to be successful as an artist participating on behalf of a brand or participating on behalf of another artist, that I really need to use my people skills and my love of humans to kind of unravel the creative possibility between the two of us. And so to show up for my clients authentically means to put myself in their shoes, think about who they're trying to serve, and really that's what it feels like to be a true creative partner, because that's where I can get the most creative ideas. And it also means that when I make something, it's not necessarily about me, which I think is something that's hard for artists. And like that has been hard for me, especially when I was younger, that I thought it should be a certain way or look a certain way. And that felt true to me. But sometimes serving my brand I'm working for, or whomever, it's not about me. And so that's the authentic kind of kindness we have. And that's where the "you get me girl" comes from. That's one of our catchphrase type things that we've adopted over the years. And it's just a simple way of saying, we get you, because one of our clients said, "You get me girl." And so
I like that. We got a few minutes left. What do you have cooking for the rest of the year? And what are you looking forward to most for 2024?
Well, I'm actually on a pendulum swing up right now. As a business owner, it's always
right,
oscillating, and I very much know that and am along for the ride. But I love the question because I have a good answer, and I maybe didn't 2 weeks ago, because that's how it goes. So for the rest of the year, I'm very pleased to say that we have a whole paid week off next week. So I get to have time with my family, and I hope that all of my employees do as well. And that's, huge for us. And then for December, we'll be working on some additional Marie Watt sculptures. And we have a really fun project coming out that is for a trade show activation for a brand, and we'll post about that maybe in January. And so working on that, we're working with another brand to do these like highly conceptual, innovative, or highly conceptual projects for the innovation side of their business, where we're like, what if a knee pad was also a elbow pad, or it was removable, or just like coming up with really wacky ideas that almost seem like they wouldn't work, but just iterating on them until we get a really cool. And so that's a garment project. And so I have a very full rest of the year. And then 2024 is already looking really busy and fruitful. And one of the things I'm looking to launch into the world, I think I've talked to you about, Doug, is Studio Howard, which is a smaller section of a new business that I'm still figuring out how to talk about it. But Studio Howard is essentially my studio. All of the creativity that we put into our projects as Portland Garment Factory is now pulled out and will be billed through a different company called Studio Howard, which is essentially all of the design work that we are doing, that's especially if it's regenerative design work, like we will focus on sustainable and regenerative design with Studio Howard. So launching that and getting that out into the world is part of Q1 next year.
Yeah. In addition to Adult Recess.
Yeah, which I wanted to tell you. I mean, everything in your opening, I had so much of like, everything you said in the opening was just resonating with me because, you know, I'm a huge basketball fan.
I know.
And a huge Blazers fan. And I also just had the opportunity to interview Mitchell S. Jackson, who is a lovely, do you know this person?
Right.
Lovely author, and he's just written a new book called Fly, which is all about basketball and fashion. And so we sat down and had a conversation, and that interview will be published next year. And I just got to read the first run of the edit of our audio recording, and so I had him out here, and super fun and cool. So I love basketball, and we're doing Adult Recess, which is, you know, happening. It's one of our extremely happy hours for Think Northwest, and that will happen, I think, on the 25th of.
It is January 25th. Mark your calendar.
And also, I'm on the board at Business for a Better Portland, and so, I am super stoked about Odd Notion, and I just realized that they were the first member to be on this member check-in. So it's just like lots of crossover.
You know, the universe has a way of healing. Let's call it that. Let's call it that. Well, Britt, thank you so much for joining us. And, you know, the thing about member check-ins, it's not just once a year. You can hit me up and be like, hey, I got 17 things I'd like to talk about. Member check-ins are for our members to check in with us. You have carte blanche as a member. So we encourage you to go to thinknw.org. You can reach out to me directly, Zanger at thinknw.org. You can bother Nicole at thinknw.org. Again, to all of our members, thank you so much. For those of you who are looking to join us, please get in touch. We'd love to have you. It's going to be a big 2024. Britt, thank you so much. And on behalf of everybody, all of us, including our wonderful board of Think Northwest and Nicole, who keeps me on track, have a wonderful holiday, and we will see everybody again soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.